Hi friends, welcome back to the Fleurange podcast. My name is Madison and I am the owner and the dyer behind Fleurange Yarns. And I hope you are ready for a long episode. This is going to be like a traditional format podcast, knitting podcast, but also kind of mixed in with my fall knitting plans because most of my fall plans are already on my needles. So I really have no business making other plans because I don't even know if I'm going to get through all the things I'm already working on, let alone new projects. Although I did apply for another test knit. So we'll see. Hope you have something cozy to sip on since it's finally cooler outside and a project to work on. And let me know what you are working on in the comments because I would love to know. So let me have some of my coffee. It's not just a prop. Oh, and we will dive in. We will start by talking about what I'm wearing. Oops. I talked about this in my last episode, talking about the yarn because I dyed this yarn. This is Delight on my woolen fingering and my brushed wool yarn base. Then the end of the sleeves transitions into Solace on the woolen fingering base, still holding Delight all the way through on the brushed wool. I am so glad that it's finally getting cool enough to wear this. It is so cozy. It's like 17 degrees outside, so it's kind of pushing it, but if I'm in the shade and there's a breeze, it's cold enough to wear it. Because the woolen fingering is woolen spun traps a lot more air within the fibers. So you end up getting a really, really warm garment, but it's not as heavy. Like this, I would say this is comparable to like an Aran weight sweater in warmth, except it's a DK weight because it's fingering plus a silk, plus a lace weight. So I'll put up like the information on the screen, but I did talk about this in my last episode. So if you want to go take a look, you're free to. My next finished object is the Campus Crew, which it's funny because I didn't really think about it, but like I've been calling this my rugby sweater, just because it's giving me kind of like varsity rugby vibes, but then it's also called the campus sweater, which like university campus, like it's very very varsity-esque, and I like it a lot. I really like the way that Claire's patterns are because for the majority of the ones that I've tested recently, they're all fit based on your upper bust measurement. So the across your chest fits really nicely. I think that sometimes if you get oversized sweaters, it's oversized everywhere, and then you kind of are lacking in like the fit in the shoulders, and I'm not a huge fan of that. So like with this one, it's a raglan, but like you don't have, sorry, gotta fix my bra. You don't have like all of that like super extra fabric here. Like it fits up here really nicely, and that's the same with this one. I will put a picture up of me wearing it. So I really like the fit of it because it fits me really nicely across the chest. It doesn't look like just I knit too big of a size. I think sometimes with oversized sweaters, I feel sometimes like a kid wearing their dad's clothes almost. And it just looks like I knit a sweater that's too big. So I'm really happy with how it fits me across the chest, and then the oversizedness, if that's a word, that I get throughout the rest of the body. The arms have a really gorgeous taper. So they are a little bit wider, but they aren't like baggy by any means. They have like a really, really nice fit. Going down to like this longer cuff. 2x2 ribbing. I love 2x2 ribbing. It's so chunky and fall. Like I love a chunky rib. The other thing that I really like about this is it's a drop shoulder. So you start with doing the back with short rows. And I love how the stripe grows out of the short rows. And she has a really neat trick on how to make it really seamless between the two colors. And I really, really like that. I love the chunky stripes. You'll see my next one is also a striped sweater, but it's a very different vibe because the stripes are a lot thinner. I also have an idea for another one because it's so cozy. I would love to do one with the same stripes on the body, but then on the sleeves, do the stripes half the width. So it's like skinnier stripes down the arms. I think that would just be so cute. So this sweater, it's not even due until the end of October. I just loved it so much I couldn't put it down. So it should be coming out at the end of October. But if you follow Claire on Instagram or me on Instagram, I will, like, when it comes out, you'll be able to see it. Very excited to wear this. And it hits me, like, this is probably one of the longest sweaters that I've knit. I ended up doing a split hem at the bottom, which isn't in the pattern, but because I ended up doing it just a little bit longer, I like having that extra space around my hips. So it definitely comes like below the waistband of my jeans, which is nice. Again, just like an oversized, cozy varsity sweatshirt is kind of the vibe that I get with that one, and I love it. Okay, my next finished object is also a Claire Jackson pattern. This is the Scorned sweater. Look at how perfect this is for fall. So this is, it looks like a raglan, but it isn't. It is a contiguous sleeve. So you work, it is all, so it's worked flat at first, so you can kind of see where the stripes go, and then you connect underneath, and you work the shoulder shaping at the same time. Let's see if I can show you that. I just think it looks so good. It almost looks like a saddle shoulder, but it's worked at the same time, so you don't have like a million ends to weave in. Although, that being said, because I did different colored stripes, I did have a lot of ends to weave in. Oh baby, it was a lot. Scorned sweater is also a DK weight. I'm fairly certain that it's a 20 stitch gauge as well, just like the Campus Crew. Again, the sleeves have this beautiful taper going down, so they are not oversized, they're just perfect. I find that Claire's patterns, like, everything about them is just right, for me at least. Following her instructions for my size has always given me the perfect fit that I'm looking for. Not too tight, not too oversized, everything is just right. Exactly to pattern, pretty much. Arm length, body length, pretty much everything is perfect. So this is, I'm calling it my pumpkin sweater because all of these yarns are like very pumpkin coated. So the orange, the brighter orange, is Pumpkin Soup by Catherine of Creation Miss Couture. She's another Canadian dyer. The dark brown is Pumpkin Spice from Fuzzy Peach Fibers. And then who I believe is in the US. And then the variegated tan one with all the speckles is Fallen Leaves from, oh, seriously, how do I always forget her business name? A Crafty Bird. The Crafty Bird? Something like that. I'll have it linked below because for the life of me, that business name just escapes my brain every single time I try to talk about it. But it is some hand dyed that I just had in stash, and for once I'm like, I have been doing so many sample knits. You'll see that a lot of the knits that are on my needles are sample colors for my fall winter core collection because I really want to showcase the colors, which is awesome. But also I'm a knitter, which means I have stash yarn. So if I'm only knitting the new yarn that I'm coming up with, I'll never get through my stash. So I decided to go through my stash and I found these 3 colors and they worked perfectly together. And I just went for it for a completely, selfish is not the right word because it's not selfish to do things that bring you joy. So it's a completely like joyful, no pressure knit, even though it was a test knit. So like there's pressure for like getting it done within the deadline. But another thing that I love about Claire's patterns, or her test knits, I guess specifically, is she gives such a generous time window. Like this is not due until November and I'm done it already. So for anyone, okay, this is a tangent, but if you ever see a test knit for a garment specifically, like hats and socks and like accessories are different, but specifically a garment, and the window is like 4 weeks, but if you need longer, you can ask. And okay, maybe you can get it done in 4 weeks, but that is insane. And a lot of times I'll see designers give the excuse, it's like, oh, well, if we give people too long, then they don't stay motivated to work on it. Well, guess what? If it's a nice pattern, people will stay motivated to work on it. This is not due until like the middle of November or the end of November. And guess what? It's done. And I was happy the whole time and I didn't feel pressure and I was still motivated to work on it. So, tangent over. Designers need to give a big enough test window that people can make it without feeling like they have to put their entire life on hold to do them a favor. Okay, apparently the tangent was not over, but now it is. So this should be coming like the end of November. This is actually a pattern that she designed for advent calendars, which is really cool. So there are instructions in the pattern to either do stripes or to fade it through your advent. So I don't have any advents coming, but it'd be a fun way to fade like scraps or anything that you have. I held sock yarn double, which is one of my favorite things to do because I have so much fingering weight sock yarn in my yarn library. So yeah, I really like it. I even did a tubular bind off on all the edges. When I first tried a tubular bind off, I hated it. I was a newer knitter and I didn't really understand it and I did it wrong. Now I know I did it wrong. So I decided to try again. It was a few garments ago. I forget exactly what it was that I tried it on, but I did it and it looked great. So now when I do 1x1 rib, I'm gonna do a tubular bind off because it just looks so clean. And I also like how stretchy it is. I really, really like it. Turned out really nice. And it's a double folded collar, which is also nice because I feel like it gives you lots of space. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm like, need to take the kids out to like a corn maze and a pumpkin patch and get like family photos or something because it's just my pumpkin sweater and I love it. So those are my 2 finished objects. Now let's get into my whips. I have a few different whips that if you watched my last video talking about all of the yarn for my core collection that I just released, you may have seen some of these. So let's talk about my King Under the Mountain shawl first. It might not look very different, but it is. I did 3 whole rows on it because I am very silly and maybe silly is not the right word. Maybe optimistic is the right word. Vibe-based yarn plans. So I dyed 3 skeins of my worsted base for this shawl. This shawl is sport weight, so I'm already doing it off gauge, and it calls for 6 skeins of sport weight yarn. Why did I think 3 skeins of worsted weight would give me even close to the size shawl that I was hoping for? I don't know. I'm not sure. I did cut out a few of the repeats because I am doing it off gauge. But anyway, so I dyed 3 skeins. I just dyed 2 more. I probably should have dyed 3 more, but I dyed 2 more. My thinking is, so this is like a really bad picture of it, but you cast on here and then you do decreases down. And basically my idea is when I run out of yarn, I'll just cut it off. So instead of going down to a point, it'll just kind of go down. It'll be kind of like a, well, it'll have 4 sides. What are the, I don't even know if that's a shape that there's a name for. There probably is, but I just don't know it. So that was my plan like all along, but I realized that if I had done that with the yarn that I had, it would have ended like here, which is not what I was going for. So I'm hoping with the 2 extra skeins, it'll make it to like here. So this is King Under the Mountain shawl by Nicole Larkin-York of Common Thread Fibers. Beautiful pattern. I was watching one of her podcasts after I had already cast this on and I was working on it, because she has a podcast here on YouTube, and she was talking about how she only makes massive shawls. Yeah, it's massive. It's so big. Like, it's so big. And this is 2.5 skeins. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be absolutely glorious. But silly me for thinking I could do a 6 skein shawl with 3 skeins. Anyway, my yarn fell apart, so it's in a little baggie. Very aesthetically pleasing. Do I have project bags? Yes. Do I have bags available that I could have put this in? Also yes. Did I decide to put it in a Ziploc bag? Yep. Okay, whatever. So, yeah, I would like to continue working on this. The chart is fairly easy now that I've done like a million repeats. The only thing that I cannot grasp is how she has done the decreases. So I don't have to look at the pattern to know like when to cable and stuff, but I do have to look at the pattern to know which rows to decrease on. So I have it on my phone and it's not that big of a deal, but I do have to focus a little bit more on this one. So this is this is home knitting. This is not, you know, going out knitting. This is something that I focus on at home on my couch. So hopefully now that the weather is getting a little bit cooler, I can have some more cozy evenings doing that, knitting on my couch with this project. Okay, my next project is a sweater for my husband that I have been working on for a while, that I almost ran out of yarn on, but thank goodness for yarny friends. Whitney of Knitted by Whitney actually had some of this exact yarn that I needed. I am using Knitpicks Stroll in the color Sequoia Heather. They don't even have this on their website anymore. I kept waiting for it to go back into stock so I could buy more of it, and they didn't. I was going to do some striping, like there was a lot of different ideas that I had, and I'm like, no, I just want a green sweater. And Knitpicks decided to get rid of this color, which is such a shame because it is so gorgeous. I don't know if you'll be able to like actually see, but the depth of color in this yarn is just gorgeous. I am holding it double, which worked out really well because Whitney she sent me like 4 or 5 skeins because I'm bad at math. So that was very, very kind of her. But obviously, like, she didn't have the same dye lot. like holding up my skeins and her skeins, I cannot see a difference between the two. But because I'm holding it double, I decided, like, you know what? Let's just hold the two dye lots together so that I don't like hold one dye lot and then the next dye lot, and maybe sometimes they look very similar in the ball, but then when you actually knit them up, your eye can see a difference once they're knit up into fabric. So to get rid of that chance, I'm just holding the balls together. So I finished the body. I ended up doing, oh, do you know what? Oh no, this is not what I did the tubular bind off on. See, I did regular bind off, and I'm kind of thinking about going back and doing a tubular bind off. We'll see. It fits him good. It's a little short in the body, but this is superwash sock yarn, so I know it's gonna grow. So I have one sleeve picked up, and I don't know, maybe a third of the way done. So I find that I don't really get hit with Sleeve Island because it's so much smaller. It goes so much faster, and you're decreasing at the same time. So I mean, like, that being said, I have been working on this for probably over a year, but that was more to do with me knowing that I was going to run out of yarn. So why keep working on a project if I know I'm going to run out of yarn? That's the same thing that happened with me for the King Under the Mountain shawl. Like, I knew I was going to run out of yarn, so I just stopped working on it until I got the rest of the yarn. This project is the Rhue sweater. Yeah, the Rhue sweater by the Creation. So this is like what it actually looks like. I decided I did not want to do color work because it was going to take too long, although I do love color work, and whatever, it doesn't matter. I wanted a quick project to make my husband a sweater, and it's still taking me over a year. So clearly, doing the color work or not doing the color work, it still takes me a long time to do it. I really liked the shape of the sleeve. Again, it's a contiguous knit. It's dark yarn, so you're probably not gonna be able to see this, but you start, so for this one, you do start in the round and you do short rows, as opposed to the Scorned sweater where you start flat and you work back and forth with increases. It's just a different way of lifting up the back, but they both fit great. I should be able to knock this out, honestly, in like a week or two if I focus on it. However, there are other things. Anyway, I'm probably not going to focus on it. Let's be honest. So this is like my going out, just need to knit on something simple, because, you know, like, you only have to do decreases every X amount of rounds, and it's really easy to keep track of that. I just count, and it's just straight up knitting. And because his arms are so flipping long, I know that I'm just gonna have to keep doing this forever. So this is like, if we go out somewhere that I know I can do a little bit of knitting, like if I take my kids to the park, or if we go, you know, to family for dinner or something like that, this is the project that I know I can take. I should stop knitting on it and actually talk to the camera. Okay, so that is the next project that I would like to get done this fall. The next project that is actually on my needles is my Best Dressed vest. Now, I test knit this for Ashley of Design by So and So in the spring, and I did it in one of my spring colors, in like a butter yellow, which I absolutely love, but that was a cotton merino, and I wanted to do a 100% wool version of it. This is also one of my entries into the Fish Girl Fall that Ashley and Casey of Young Folk Knits are hosting, because it's half fisherman's rib. It is so squishy. I am so excited. So this one, I don't know if you can tell how massive this cake of yarn is. This is a 250 gram ball of sport weight yarn. It's a little fuller than the yarn that's called for, so I do need to double check my gauge. I think I might be a little bit off, but the nice thing about this project is it's knit in panels. So you knit the back all the way down, and then you pick up for the front and knit the front all the way down, and then you seam like by an inch at the underarms. So that makes it a lot easier to knit the half fisherman's rib because it's ribbing on one side and then just knitting across. So it makes it go a little bit faster, I feel like, than half fisherman's rib in the round. Also, so this is technically the right side, which is the side that I left out for my yellow version. But this is the other side, and I think I might use this side out for this one, just because the texture of it is so gorgeous. I really, really like it. So I'm at the point now where I have to start doing the underarm shaping and then just knit down. And I'm gonna basically just knit until I have half of the ball left, because I do want the back to be a little bit longer than the front. So if I knit, so I have 250. So if I knit 125, right? 125 plus 125 is 250. I know how to do math. And so if I knit until I have 125 grams left, then I can do the front and knit until I have 25 grams left. And that 25 grams should be enough to do the neck line and the armholes. In my head, that works out. So we will see if it actually works out. For the neckline, the pattern calls to do ribbing, but I think I might do an I-cord around and then an I-cord around the armholes and do longer ties to tie it under the arm, because it's kind of like a vest that I'm going to be wearing over dresses and long sleeve shirts and stuff. So I think that could be really cute instead of doing the ribbing, but I might do the ribbing too. We'll have to see once I get there. I very much am vibes based planning. For some reason, I kind of like, I don't like being told what to do, which is really funny because like using a pattern is literally someone telling you like how to do something. But I like having the creative freedom to kind of do my own thing. And yet I still end up signing up for test knits, which is like the whole point of doing a test knit is to follow the pattern exactly and not change it so that, you know, other people know that the pattern works. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going off on tangents, but I guess the thing is, once I've knit a pattern and I know I like it and I know that I like the way it fits, it feels like the next time that kind of gives me leave to do different things and figure out different ways that I might want to tweak it just a little bit, just to change it and knit the same pattern but make it different. Because I love knitting patterns over again. I think that's like one of my favorite things is when I see a pattern that I have, you know, like a few different ideas, like the Rhue sweater, doing it without the color work and then doing it with the color work. It's going to look like two different sweaters, but I'm following the same pattern. So I feel like that gives me like a little bit more bang for my buck, because I don't think knitting patterns are too expensive. If anything, I think that people tend to underprice their work. But you don't just have to knit things once. Knit them multiple times, you know? Do a different fiber, do a different sleeve length, do a different, you know, body length, do a different neck, like edging detail. Like, anyway, I feel like I'm going off on a lot of tangents, and editing me is going to have a lot of fun. Even though when I sat down, I said, hey, let's do this in one take and like maybe not edit out all of the crazy stuff and just let people see you, how you really are. I might edit out the crazy stuff and not let people see who I really am. But Who knows if you're even listening to this? Did I edit it out? You don't know. I don't know. Anyway, that's my best dressed vest that I'm working on. That leads me into, sorry, my next project, which I still have not finished swatching for. But my best friend recently moved back here from Ireland. She was there for a few years and she had this yarn and I offered to make her something. So I am swatching for it. Again, it's a really dark yarn, so you probably won't be able to see it that well, but this beautiful forest green with tweedy bits, like orange and green and yellow and brown tweedy bits. So what I'm thinking is I am going to make her a best dressed vest as well, but I'm going to do it in stockinette instead of half fisherman's rib because she is a person that runs very warm. Like, I don't even know if she owns a winter coat. I don't even know if I've ever seen her wear a sweater in the dead of winter. Like, she's just warm all of the time. So the half fisherman's rib is just a little too squishy for her. Like, it would just be too warm. So I'm gonna make the same pattern, but I'm gonna do it in stockinette. Again, you can just change patterns if you want to make them again, but make them differently. This is a half fisherman's rib project. Is it going to take a little bit of like knowledge of how knitting works to make it in stockinette? Yes. Can I do that? Also, yes. So that's what I'm going to do. So I haven't even finished swatching. It also might be a little bit off gauge. I'll just make a different size. Whatever. Vibe-based, baby. Vibe-based. So I really like the fabric that it's making though. It's really nice. We don't even know what this yarn is. It's got to be some kind of maybe acrylic wool blend, maybe superwash wool. I can't really tell. I could probably do a burn test to figure it out. But I don't really care that much and she doesn't care that much. So I'm just going to finish the swatch, block it, and then see which size I need to make. This one is not like a project that has to be done this fall by any means. She probably will only be able to wear it in the dead of winter anyway because she's so freakishly warm all the time. But yeah, that is another project on my radar. The last one that I will talk to you about, maybe my last one, yeah, is another swatch. This one I actually finished. So this is using my, it's a DK weight held with a Surrey in my color Confidence. And I swatched for the Ever After vest. Claire Jackson put out a testing call for it. And my idea is to make a sweater vest dress. So this is just a sweater vest, and I did check with Claire and she said it would be okay if I wanted to make it a little bit longer because I think that I need like 600 yards for my size and I have 900 yards of this yarn. So I think I could make a pretty decent length. Like, I'm not looking for even knee length. I'm kind of looking for like mid-thigh, wear it over top of tights with boots or even jeans, like whatever. I'm probably not going to wear it like as a dress on its own, but I've been wanting to do a sweater vest dress, and I was thinking of doing the Lauder by Rebecca Clow, which is all over cabled. And then I saw this test call from Claire and I was like, why don't I try doing a stockinette version first and test out, because I'm gonna have to do like hip shaping and stuff because my hips are quite a bit wider than my waist. So why don't I try that out on a stockinette project first before I decide to jump in and do an all over cabled one. So this is like a crew neck vest. So I think when I do the Lauder, I'll likely do the V-neck vest version, and it's all over cable. So it'll be a very different vibe. and I have other yarn for that. So I guess that's kind of a plan. I have this one and this one, both Knitpicks yarn. I haven't bought Knitpicks yarn in a long time because they were having some issues. But I've had this for quite a while. So this is Wool of the Andes, worsted weight. And this is Provincial Tweed, worsted weight, which I think both would make really cute. I think both colors look good on me. Purple and green are my favorite colors. So I have yarn already in stash that I could do that project with. So if I get around to that, maybe it will have to be a winter plan, because there's no way I can do all of these projects and a second dress. That's crazy. But I have the swatch, and I met Gage. I think that's another reason why I like testing for Claire so much, is we are knitting twins. I almost always make the exact same gauge with the exact same needle size as Claire. So that makes it really easy to test her patterns, because if I'm just like knitting a pattern, I don't mind doing it a little bit off gauge. But if you're testing a pattern, it's pretty important for you to make gauge as closely as possible. So it's pretty nice when you test for someone who's your knitting twin. So another orange. Those are all my knitting plans. I have a crochet plan. Did I bring? Oh, I did. Look at me. So this is a ball of my hand spun. It's so hard with the light. This is, I actually did this 100% on my drop spindle. So I spun it and I plied it on my drop spindle. I haven't done any spindle spinning in a while because it's really, really hard on my shoulder. I actually have a Dreaming Robots E spinner now, and I absolutely love it. But I have never knit or crafted in general with my hand spun. So, Carrie is a friend of mine, and she is doing a cowl, an autumn cowl along with her patterns. And there's 5 dyers, like me included, that we are offering a discount code for our yarns and a prize, potential prize to win, a skein of yarn from the 5 of us. So I wanted to join in on that, and I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to use some hand spun. So I'm going to actually crochet a cowl. I haven't 100% decided on the pattern yet, but I actually have crocheted for a lot longer than I have knit, but for some reason there was something about the way that I was doing it that really, really hurt my hands. And so I haven't really crocheted any big projects for a really long time, just because in my head I'm like, well, if I crochet, I'm gonna be in pain, and I don't want to do that. But I have a collection. Sneak peek. I have a, not really a sneak peek, but a sneak out loud telling you. I have a collection coming out in the beginning of November, and I'm doing swatches for all of the colors. So I just spent, I spent like 2 hours the other day crocheting swatches, and I realized after I was done that I'm like, my hand did not hurt at all. I just crocheted for like an hour or 2 without any pain at all. So that's kind of exciting, because now I feel more comfortable, pulling out an actual project instead of just doing swatches. So I'm going to use my hand spun. This is 100% superwash merino, and it's very plush. It's like, it's thick and thin, and some parts are overplied and some parts are underplied. Like, this is one of my earlier hand spun, but it's very soft. So I think it's going to make a really nice cowl. And I need to start using my hand spun, because what's the point of having it if I don't use it? I mean, the point is it brings me joy to make it. So like, making a skein of hand spun is the whole craft I don't have to use it. The joy comes from making it, but also I would like to use it. That's what I'm saying. So that's a crochet project. I have another spinning, I guess, spinning update. I've never done that before, but I have finished 2 of my plies for my 3-ply yarn. I've never done a 3-ply before. I always have done 2-plies, but I'd like to try my hand at a 3-ply. And so I've got 3 braids of BFL that are kind of tonal dye. Like there's different variations in there, but it's all blues and greens. And I'm spinning them 3 different ways. So for this first one, I spun it end to end. So I didn't divide it at all. I just took one end and I spun it from one end all the way to the other. This one, I divided it in 4. So I split the braid in half, and then each half I split in half again. And you can really see the difference that made. Like this is really all one color, and this one you can see the striping a little bit. So for this next braid, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide it into 8. So I'm going to split it in half, and I'm going to split each half into half, and then each of those halves into half. Does that make sense? So the one ply is top to bottom. The other ply is in quarters, and this one is going to be in 8ths, I guess is an easier way of saying it. So that should give me some kind of striping effect. It's like a fractal, but it's a 3-ply fractal. And I don't really know if that's a thing. I'm not really great at the terms of spinning. Again, vibe-based, baby. Knowledge, technical knowledge, who is she? Don't need her. We're spinning on vibes. And that will give me, because it's 3 braids, that will give me 300 grams-ish of likely a worsted weight. So I'm thinking of doing a colorwork project with it because it'll be kind of like a spin cycle. So that will be pretty fun. And the last project that I want to talk to you about is a crochet project, which is another addition to the Fish Girl Fall Make-Along. I don't know if you can really see what's coming yet, but it's a sardine tin. It's so cute. I love it so much. So I'm basically just going like square by square. It ended up being a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be because I'm bad at reading descriptions, but I think it's gonna be so stinking cute. So the backing is kind of like a linen-y color, and then I'm just doing bright blue for the whole thing. It's just using one color, which I love the simplicity of it. And it's little sardines in a tin, and then it says sardines on it. And I just think it's so cute. This is like a winter-long project. This is gonna take me forever. I basically do like a square or 2 in the evening before bed. I actually need to get more floss for it because I underestimated how much it would take me, mostly because I underestimated how big it was going to be. So I need to get like 4 more little skeins of the blue floss. But yeah, I think it's so cute. You can just like kind of see the mouths of the fish being formed now. The next one will do the eyes. And anyway, it is so silly. And I think that that's great. We don't have to be serious. And, okay, Labubu's, Taylor Swift, fish stuff. Everybody likes different things. Everybody is allowed to like what they like. You don't have to like Labubu's or Taylor Swift or fishy things. Keep it to yourself. Nobody cares. That was maybe a little harsh. Don't yuck other people's yum. We're having fun. we're chasing things that bring us joy because there's enough negativity in the world, just have fun. Don't take yourself so serious. If you want to knit beige sweaters, knit beige sweaters. I'm not going to knit beige sweaters, but I'm also not going to make fun of you for knitting beige sweaters. That's just not something that I want to do. So I feel like it's another tangent. Knit with what you want, make what you want, and have fun with it, and let other people do what they want. Because you're not the one that has to wear it if they're the one making it. Anyway, those are all of my projects. I feel like I probably gave you too much information about some things and not enough information about other things, but I am very rusty, and hopefully editing Madison will put stuff up on the screen if I missed information. I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk to you about. If you liked it, like the video. If you liked it, subscribe to my channel, because there's more chaos vibe-based making where that came from. And hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.